In understanding this to the death penalty, one, every person has a right to life. Well, that case is a landmark case in the history of Uganda, where Suzan Kigula and 416 others versus Attorney General bringing the element of the death penalty and how it was scrapped off and the rest. What happened in that case is Suzan Kigula had a housemaid whom, together with the maid, collided to have the husband killed. So on a fateful day, they got a panga, went into the house, killed the husband, and the baby, or the little kid, was watching them. So when they came to court under the voir dire, the kid was subject to the voir dire, gave a testimony, and that's how now we come in to the element of murder. And because upon killing, Suzan Kigula ran out with the maid, yelling and shouting that we've been attacked. Yet all the evidence that was that was gathered around, pointed to one thing: Suzan Kigula killed the husband. So the baby gave a clear testimony, which now the court used to sentence Suzan Kigula to death. Because under the laws of Uganda, the Penal Code Act section, by then it was 188, which was now amended to 171, provided for death penalty to be the death penalty to be a punishment for murder. And so Suzan Kigula was liable for murder after proving all the facts around. When you look at Article 22, As 24 and 44, they're all in line with human rights. And human rights are not state given. They're not gifts. They are inherited. And everyone has a right to those human rights, except when it's taken away by the court. And it's in 21, it's only the court with the mandate to take away this right to life. Article 24, the one you asked, it's a freedom. And one is free from inhuman and degrading punishments that may be given to him, free from cruel and every kind of torture that may be brought to this person. And Article 44, the one you asked, brings in the element of non-derogable rights, rights that can't be taken away no matter what. So, in understanding this to the death penalty, one, every person has a right to life, no matter what they might have done. And subjecting them to death is a punishment that is inhuman. Why would we kill someone? It's a punishment that will torture their minds. It's a cruel, degrading punishment that isn't okay at any one point. The laws in Uganda, we take around 5 to 6 years to execute this punishment. In the landmark case of Suzan Kigula, what happened is the land professor, Sempewa, was the lawyer of the defendants, argued and said that it takes 5 to 6 years to execute this penalty. And thus, if you delay in any way, the person whose sentence has been death penalty is already subject to cruel punishment in the prison. And in Uganda specifically, it takes 3 days. It used to take 3 days actually to execute a person. So a person who was in prison for all that long, one, wasn't finding peace in prison. The fellow inmates weren't giving him that fair treatment. And then finally, they were going through a lot of psychological torture that was against their mind. They didn't know what tomorrow is holding for them. 3 days to the day of the execution, they were always kept in cell and not allowed to move out. So prolonged execution leads to a psychological torture, which is against the Article 24, that brings in plurality and mind torture, which also brings in the element of mind torturing. The laws even currently still provide for death penalty. When you look at our penal code currently today. And so that case brought in the element of taking away somebody's life being against the laws of Uganda. Because in Uganda, we look at the laws provided by the parliament and also the precedents, the rulings that are given by the court. and we look at them as sources of laws. So that case of Suzan Kigula brings in a precedent or a ruling that we rely on even currently today, that no one should be hanged, no one's life should be taken away through execution. And it's upon that case that we rely on, not even any statute, not even any written law, but we rely on that case. The judiciary's work is very simple. Once you make the laws, some laws might be having loopholes that might be inconsistent, because not all people in the parliament are technocrats in the department of making the laws. So what the judiciary does is interpret the laws, look at where the law is having a loophole, and now the legislature, its work is to amend what the judiciary has interpreted. But currently today, the legislature has a lot of case backlog in amending what the judiciary has already passed. So it enables a fair administration of justice in that once the legislature makes any law that might be inconsistent, the judiciary will come in to rectify the loophole, and thus we shall have fair and good administration in the country. After the appeal in the court they had, the court declared the death penalty as inconsistent to the laws of Uganda. She even went ahead and was given that freedom and liberty to study. She went ahead, did a diploma in law, did a bachelor's in law in prison, graduated from UK on an online case. And why she wasn't executed, it's very simple. The punishment was against the laws of Uganda, and the right to life can be taken away at whatever cost. In those ages, before we had the written laws we have today, we had what we would call the mosaic laws that were borrowed, which even our friends in the Islamic faith still have an eye for an eye. You do something, then you deserve the punishment for that. So with evolution and changes in the society, when you came to the 20th century, we had what we call equity. What does common law say? So what does common sense say? Fine, we might be having the law, but what does common sense say? Is killing a remedy at one point? No. How shall we know that somebody has transformed? People change. Somebody might have done something under duress, under coercion, and end up doing a punishment that leads to their death. So executing them denies them a right or a chance to redeem themselves. Well, people that are still under that punishment, one, the prisons service, there's a committee in charge of looking at how people are taking their lifetime in the prison. So it brought up some landmark statement that said if people are under such punishments, they should behave well. And under Article 121 of the Constitution, a prerogative of mercy, they were going to be released, or else given a fair sentence that might be worth of their time, or else those people are also given another chance of staying in prison for a lifetime imprisonment. So the judiciary currently is still open for such cases, the criminal cases. Whoever had that issue of having death penalty by then has the right to appeal and have that punishment turned. The judiciary has a remedy, either to release you for the time you've served in prison, give you another fair sentence, and my hope unto them, all people that might be there that are having such a penalties, let them behave well in prison. At some point, the prerogative of mercy is still active, and the inmates will be released in the fullness of time, or else they can appeal to court to have that decision quashed.